We're looking after our heart. We want to reduce the amount of refined carbohydrates. White rice is definitely on that list. I mean, you can definitely go for a whole grain. You can do a brown rice. You can do a quinoa. You can do millet. So many different choices. We're actually going to do, this is a cool little trick. And cauliflower is if you don't know, it is the new kale of 2014. It is trending in the food universe. So we're gonna do as much cauliflower as we can in this kitchen and do some different things. I'm not joking. If you think I'm joking, yeah. It's like fashion, food does trend. So cauliflower, and I have just the little flowerets here, putting it into a food processor. You can do this by hand too, chop it up. And there's a neat little trick. Just gonna give it a little buzz. Just until it breaks down a little bit. So that's pretty much it. And you have this really nice kind of rice texture with the cauliflower. It's in its raw state, so you just wash it well. You don't have to cook it at all. And you have this really nice, almost rice-like texture. Now, if you don't like cauliflower, it'll probably pop out at you. I mean, it is raw cauliflower, but try it. It is definitely a delicious alternative, especially if you don't have time to cook the rice. Rice isn't that difficult to cook, but I mean, come on, this took me 30 seconds. That's it, raw. And so you have this beautiful kind of, almost like a grain texture, but it's just a cauliflower. So that's done. And we don't have to worry about that, and I can move on to this beautiful sauce. So what I have here, just a saute pan over medium heat. This is the only step which I would suggest, for really good biryanis, the onions are cooked and cooked and cooked until you have this amazing sweet caramelization, and the spices in there really, really start to come out. So that's the only part where I would suggest, take your time, low heat, get your onions cooking, 10, 15 minutes, even 20 minutes. Just let them cook, let them turn brown. So this one I did ahead of time. You can see how dark they become. And these are red onions. You can use any onions, but we're really trying to concentrate the flavor. And you can do this at the beginning of the process. I added a few spices, so I added a little bit of turmeric, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of clove, a little bit of cardamom. You can add whole spices too to this. Most of the time, traditional biryanis, the whole spices are there. But if you're not used to it, I don't want you choking on a cardamom pod or like a cinnamon stick. So you can definitely use the ground or even grind it yourself. Cumin's another one. I didn't add cumin to this, but cumin's another big, big flavor. Again, looking to increase the flavor without the need for too much salt. We do want a pinch, however, just a small pinch that helps to caramelize the onions. It helps to promote some of that moisture out of it and helps to cook it down. So a little bit of salt is okay there, but definitely want to increase the flavor with our spices. Okay, so caramelized. These are beautiful right now. What I have here is some grated sweet potato. Delicious, very nutritious for you. If you're not a big fan of the sweetness here, you can definitely try, even like a grated celery root or rutabaga or something where you're still going to get a little bit of sweetness, but it's not as sweet as this. But sweet potato, I'm sure most people have tried. If you haven't, you definitely have to get your hands on some sweet potato. And this is raw, not cooked. Some just grated with a cheese grater in there. And we're going to stir that through. Cook that just for a couple minutes. I don't know if you can start smelling the onions and some of those spices. We're going to add some peas, frozen peas. I have no issue with frozen peas. And for the sauce, so what I want to do, this is completely optional. I have a little bit of coconut milk here. You can use stock, or you can use water. This is going to give it does have fat, but it's going to give it a little bit of creaminess, and I don't need too much. So we have a little bit of coconut milk, and I have saffron. Has anyone tried saffron before? Yes, saffron, amazing flavor, beautiful flavor. It is a little more expensive. You're looking at probably $8 to $10 for a little package like this, but you don't need too much. This is, probably, let's say, 1/10 of the package, and you just need a little pinch.
How long does it last?
It lasts. It's if it's in a sealed jar and you keep it cool, it'll last. I would say probably a couple months.
Yeah.
But like I said, with any spices or anything like this, it's not like it's going to go bad on you. The flavor, especially once you open it, might start to dissipate, might start to escape a little bit. But at its prime, yeah, I would try to use it within 2 months, 3 months. So a little pinch in that coconut milk. This is warm already, and you can, just warm it up. Put the mug in the microwave for 20 seconds. If you don't like using the microwave, put it in a small pot, just so that you almost steep that saffron in that coconut milk. And we're going to add that. And you're going to see as it cooks down, like if I let that steep a little longer, you're going to get this beautiful amber color in there. But we're going to stir that in. And you're going to see as this cooks, it's going to get that really nice color, and you're going to start to smell that saffron. And it's Valentine's Day. I mean, a little bit's okay. And then, so once that cooks down a little bit, I would say about 5-10 minutes, just until it bubbles. You don't want it to over boil. You don't want to boil this. Just medium heat, medium-low heat. Gentle heat is good in the kitchen. So you can see it's starting to boil there. I have some chopped tomatoes. Just a little bit of chopped tomato to that. And a little bit of currants. Dried fruit is common in biryanis. You see raisins, you'll see sometimes dates, you'll see prunes sometimes, which are really, really nice. These are just dried currants. So I'm going to go ahead, add a few of those in there. Stir that through. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you season it to taste, but just until it reduces slightly, and I would say cook it for maybe another 5 minutes. That grated sweet potato, because it's grated, it's so small that it cooks a lot faster. You don't need to have it in there for such a long time. So we'll say that 5 minutes have passed. So that's all done. That is going to be spooned on top of our mock cauliflower rice. You can mix the rice right into the dish too, or the cauliflower or rice, whatever you're using, into the dish if you want. But you have this, amazing flavor. It doesn't take long at all to make. And then at the end, I really like cilantro. I know some people will attack you if you put cilantro in a dish, but I'm teaching the class, so cilantro it is. Cilantro on there. Again, heat is completely up to you. It's a little bit on the sweeter side. I have some of the sweet potatoes, some of the currant. If you don't like heat, you don't add heat. If you like heat, then definitely add a little bit of heat. So for this one here, I'm just going to add a little bit of red Thai chili, which isn't too aggressive, but it has a really nice flavor to it. And it's got this beautiful color on top. And then just at the end, you add a touch of lime juice, which any citrus at the end of a dish, soup, sauces, stews, grilled vegetables, a little bit of citrus, lemon or lime is going to just completely elevate the flavor. That's it. Really, really simple.